welcome to the first episode of what we're calling Ouzo Shots, ladies and gentlemen. The Ouzo Talk podcast in a shot version. Right, Nick Athanasiou, welcome, mate.
Thank you, mate. It's great to be here. Great to have a Ouzo Shot episode off and running. We've talked about it for a while, but
we have.
Let's kick off.
Absolutely. And, να το βαφτίσουμε, the christening. We have His Eminence, the Pope, Anthony "The Rock" Locascio.
I have returned. It's a pleasure to be the hymen breaker for this Ouzo Shots concept. That's what I like to be. Let's do it.
Fantastic. And look, the reason why we're here today is because early this morning, Liverpool Football Club, the greatest football club, aside from the South Sydney Rabbitohs, of course, the greatest football club in the EPL, managed to take the trophy this morning. And along with them,
20 titles.
Yes. Along with them, our own Scouse Greek, Kostas Tsimikas.
The Golden Greek.
Absolutely. How good was it?
Yeah, it was pretty good. And you know, there's people that were just kind of speculating that Spurs might give them a run, even though Spurs are shit and Liverpool are the team. But yeah, no, it was a flattening. Yeah. It was an absolute.
They scored first though. Spurs scored first.
Yeah.
The crowd went a bit silent, and it took them 4 minutes to get an equaliser, and
then it was game over. Spurs played a weekend. They got to worry about Europa League, so they played a weekend side. Theo Ange, as he will henceforth be known on this podcast. Theo Ange made more changes from one game to the next than any Tottenham manager in history.
Is that right?
He made 8 changes from the last game to this game.
Before we go any further, this guy actually is a legit football nut and a legit football. I mean, what do we call you? Do we call you a what's the word for it? A pundit?
Autistic.
That's
what we call it.
Autistic football supporter.
Desperately like it's what keeps my equilibrium on a daily basis.
Fantastic.
Just reading and listening to podcasts and watching games and just being that. So
and we share a little bit of common ground because when the Greek legends were here, the legends of Euro 2004, we interviewed them and so did you on the field, didn't you?
Yep. It was
that was for SBS. Wasn't it?
It was for SBS, and I mean, I think I speak for all three of us when I say, "Holy fuck!"
Yeah,
you know, like
absolutely,
it was triches. You know what I mean? I went to Lambert Park to interview them when they played against the Sydney Olympic legends, and I straight up forgot how to speak Greek.
Yeah,
I straight up was like,
stage fright.
Yeah. I was watching him from a distance, from the side of the pitch, and you could tell there were a few nerves there, and with good reason because we were the same, weren't we?
Yeah, exactly. No, we were. Oh, look, I said it how many times. I was sitting in that couch,
right there,
watching the game. 20 years later, if you told me, I looked back and I would those three idols would be sitting at my dining table. I wouldn't have believed you.
Somewhere through the sands of time, but they were in this room.
It was fun to not to deviate from Liverpool because that's what we're here for. But real quick, it was fun to speak to each of them individually because they brought such a different energy.
Yeah,
Charisteas is like a bit of a motivational speaker, kind of a talker. So he had a bit of a politician energy to him.
Sure.
Zagorakis is just your uncle.
Yeah.
Didn't speak English. Didn't give a fuck. Agorimu, all hugs, nothing.
Yeah.
And then Karagounis, being the greatest player that Greece has ever and possibly will ever produce, given that he was about to play a match, doesn't matter who against, doesn't matter what field, doesn't matter for what trophy, he was already in I'm going to kill them mode.
Yeah.
He's
very intense, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
The assassin. That's what we nicknamed him.
Yeah, that's what we nicknamed him. Yeah.
And he totally still had it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
100%.
He was the only one that I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
He's going 30% capacity.
Every time he got the ball, there were alarm bells ringing all over the ground.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
Mate, we said it on the show, mate. If we had to go to war, you want him next to you.
Oh, yes.
Fearless. Assassin. Anyway, but we're here to talk about
devious.
Tsimikas.
5-1 at Anfield this morning. An absolutely
fantastic,
incredible
Golden Greek.
Yeah.
So was he Thessaloniki born? I think he ended up playing 16 matches this year, had 1 assist, 2 yellow cards. How would you have rated his season?
I think he did all right considering Robbo had a little bit of a downturn this season. Mm-hmm. Andy Robertson, I think they're probably this might be his swan song for Liverpool.
Okay.
They're definitely looking for a new left back.
Yeah.
And so our boy got quite a bit of game time compared to what he has before. I think he did well. I think he's a good player.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He's clearly the deputy, but
Yeah.
He's a good player.
But when in a season where you've got 1 assist and 2 yellow cards, I mean that's pretty good statistics.
That's in the
aren't they?
Premier League. Yeah, it's not bad. The yellow cards I was quite impressed with. I think Gadagunis would be happy with that.
Yeah.
Not enough, he'd say. I think.
He's the second Greek to play for Liverpool.
Is he the
Yes,
second?
there's a guy called Sotidios.
Then he's not the second, because if you're thinking of someone else, I'm thinking Kyriakos.
One of our
him.
listeners.
Kyriakos played for Liverpool in the late 2000s when they were shit, and he got a lot of game time. He was a good player.
Yeah,
He was.
He was.
He's a big thug.
One of our listeners will definitely will chime in. Let us know. Send us an email. Send us a comment. Let us know.
Fucking
who it was.
idiots! What about Papastathopoulos? Actually, Papastathopoulos? No, he was Arsenal. Arsenal, yeah. Papastathopoulos played for Arsenal.
Well, he scored the assist as well in the Carabao Cup as well.
Yeah.
He set up Virgil, I think, for the winner in the final. So, mate, he's just a pretty face. Quite talented, the Golden Greek.
Not the only happy Greek on the pitch either this morning, because I don't know if you guys know this, but Theo Ange, lifelong Liverpool supporter.
Oh, right.
This is a great point, actually. So, what do you think was going through his head this morning? I mean, obviously, let's be fair. His job is not 100% secure at this point.
Yeah.
What would have been going through his head, you reckon?
Fuck yeah, mate. Fuck yeah. From a little boy, this guy would have wanted to watch Liverpool win the Premier League at Anfield, and he got to be their pitch side.
Surely not at his expense, though.
What a story.
But is it at his expense at all?
No.
Not at all.
No.
For Spurs, they're not going to get relegated. The relegation spots are done now.
Yeah.
Their league form matters for nothing at all. They have to win the Europa League. Otherwise, their season's a total bust, and he's absolutely gone. So in his head, he's like best case scenario.
Yeah. Well, he's close. They're in the semi-final. They're playing some Norwegian team. They should win that.
They're playing Bodo Glimt,
Are they any good?
who have knocked out Lazio and Roma.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They're the giant killers. I watched a bit of their game against Lazio in Norway where they play.
Yeah.
It looks like your backyard, Nick. It looks like where they play. Like you can
Wow.
Lambert Park.
Lambert Park.
It's that. You can see the apartment buildings.
And Lambert Park's awesome.
Yeah.
With the tomates and
With the tomates,
and
the whole
mint
lot. Yeah.
growing on the side.
The mint. I don't think they get mint in Norway, but whatever they got, their equivalent, it's like that Bodo Glimt.
Fantastic.
And yet they have been the giant killers. So I wouldn't say it's a straight
Foregone conclusion.
Yeah, but I want them to win.
Yeah.
I want them to win the whole thing.
That's the question. Will Ange Ball triumph in that space?
I want. Yeah, look, I don't know.
This is the last chance,
He hasn't
isn't
been
it?
able to play Ange Ball anyway with this squad. So, but
So
I want
what
him
is
to
it?
win.
Yeah.
And I want him to, and instead of them firing him, I want him to quit. I want him to say, "I won you your first trophy, your first European trophy, I think ever.
Yeah.
Your first trophy in God knows how long. Stick it up your ass."
See you later.
That's very Greek, isn't it?
Yeah, because
absolutely.
they haven't really given him much of a squad. I read at one stage he was playing like 17, 18-year-old kids there, like who were in equivalent of Jersey Flegg, for our rugby league people.
terms.
But having these young kids out there, because we had so many injuries, like 11, 12 players injured.
Well, this last off season, it was the beginning of his second season. Tottenham spent around £90 million on 3 players: Lucas Bergvall, Archie Gray, and Odebear. 3 players 20 or younger, and did not replenish the squad in any other way. So you got 3 players who theoretically are not Premier League ready. All 3 of them are fantastic and they've contributed to some degree, but we're not talking about Premier League ready depth. And they brought Timo Werner back in on loan. And other than that, their defense had absolutely no depth. Their midfield had very little depth. Up top, they were reliant on Son Heung-min, who is declining. And so you cop your injuries to your 2 main centre-backs. You got Archie Gray, the 19-year-old midfielder, playing at centre-back with Jed Spence, who's never played for Tottenham, really. Who's a wing-back playing centre-back. What do you want from the guy?
Yeah, exactly. And we're talking, they play 4 competitions, really. The Premier League, the Europa League, Carabao Cup, and the FA Cup.
And the FA Cup, yeah.
So that's massive. A lot of games.
Yeah.
A lot of football.
That's where you need a big squad.
Yeah.
And these guys were just falling over.
It was bad. It was bad squad management, and then the English pundits are saying, "Oh, Ange is so dogmatic in his we got to play attacking football that he wasn't able to switch and realize, okay, I don't have the squad to play the football that I want, so let's just play a bit more defensive." He was just too stuck in his own ways to do that, and that's not the sign of a great manager. So it's as much his fault as it is the squad planning and the injuries. Hard disagree on my part, but I will never not be biased when it comes to Theo Ange.
Yeah.
Well, let's give Ange a little bit of a
toast.
toast.
Yeah,
That's
give him
the
his due.
And
Theo Ange. Well done,
Ange.
mate. You've
Still
done
love
well.
you,
Mate,
You're the best.
It's just who we are, mate.
Bravo, Ange.
We've spent an awful lot of time talking about the losing side in this case,
Oh,
though.
yeah.
But back to the winners, Liverpool FC. I mean, what do you reckon? How special do you reckon it would be to win that competition for someone like Tsimikas, who's come from Thessaloniki? You know, what does it mean? I can't conceive of how important that would be.
Was Tsimikas not in the squad when they won in 2020?
They signed him in 2020.
Okay, I think he won, but obviously that win for Liverpool has a asterisk because they won it behind closed doors. It was during the COVID year.
Yes,
it
that's
wasn't
right.
a true celebration. So this is obviously